Welcome back to Diving into Watches. This week's review, we are going to be taking a look at what I want to call one of my sub-grail watches that I just picked up probably a couple weeks ago now. I have three grail watches and then I have some sub-grail watches. And if you've been in the watch community anytime for any amount of time, you have those three high-end watches you really want, and then you maybe have some lower and middle range watches that you're looking at. I have grail watches and I have my sub-grail watches. And if you're new to the watch thing, trust me, you will have grail watches that you're looking for that you will either due to the price point or the rarity. They're grails that you just really hope to have one day, and if you can pull it off, that's awesome. For me, I have three grail watches and then I have three sub grail watches. Sub grail are the ones that are priced between a 1 and a 2,000 range, and then the three grail watches that I'm looking at that I want one day, or over $2,000. Of the two grail watches that I have obtained so far is the Marathon GSAR, which I have done a review on, and I will put that link down in the comments. The second one we picked up, that I picked up about, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks now. No, maybe longer, maybe about a month ago, is the Squale 1521. And this one has been on my radar for years. It just, for whatever reason, I never pulled the trigger on it. It was a sub $1,000 watch. It was in the 950 range. And I just never, ever pulled the trigger on it because there was other watches I was really into at the time, and the price point would just seem so astronomical to me. Seiko's and Citizen and Orient and some other brands that I absolutely love that I've collected. But as my collection has started to grow and I've started to pare it down, the price point that I'm willing to pay for watches has risen over time. And I knew that Squale, I don't know if you ever take a look at Long Island Watches, Mark from my Long Island Watches, he has a YouTube channel. One of his videos, he was doing a review, I think it was on one of the new Squales that came out, but he had mentioned that Squale in February of this year was going to be raising their prices 20%. That was the call to action that finally got me to pull the trigger on picking up the Squale 1521 blue dial with the tan, has the tan leather band on it. I have it on a Zulu straps band. I'll put their link down in the comments. That's the only FKM rubber strap I use besides Montrose straps for all of my they're FKM rubber for all my watches. They just, nothing beats them. They're fantastic. They're pricey, but you know, I'm of the philosophy buy once, cry once. So we are going to be taking a look at the Squale 1521. This is one of Squale watches' main watches. Squale started back in 1950 by last name's Von Buren. I think it's Richard Von Buren. I could be wrong. I'll correct it down below if I've got the name wrong. Started making watches in 1950. You know, he was a sailor and started making watches, actually watch cases for other watch companies. I believe he made watch cases for Tudor, Rolex, and a few other ones. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive. For a good history on Squale, go over to Urban Gentry's channel and see the history he did on Squale. I'm just going to give a quick 30,000 foot on Squale's history, and then we'll get into the watch. But in 1950, started making cases. Then in 1959, they actually started making their own line of watches. And then in 1970s, they came out with the Squale 1521, which is the current iteration of the same watch. Basically, it's been unchanged since the 70s. And I love watches that have strong military horology, and this watch has a strong military horology with the Italian Navy and with the Folgore. I think it's Folgore. I don't know exactly how it's spelled. Airborne Brigade that this watch was issued to in the 70s. So it has a good military horology. But I absolutely loved the size, the case, the color, the history. And Squale is Italian for, some people say it's Squall, and some people say it's Squale. So I guess it depends on who it is. But from my understanding, it's Italian for shark. And they have numerous different models, but this one has I've just always loved this one. From the minute I saw it, that blue case, the blue bezel, the tan leather strap. I have it on the Zulu straps, full FKM rubber strap, and I just love it. So it is a fantastic dive watch. If you're looking to take your next step to the next level, or if you've been eyeing the Squales, now's the time to get one. Check out Long Island watches. They might still have someone on the old price point. I'm not sure, but Squale makes a fantastic watch in that sub thousand right now. It's probably now it'll be over $1,000 price point. And what you get for this watch is absolutely phenomenal. So let's go over to the bench and let's take a look at the Squale 1521 and what makes it such a unique and awesome watch. It's something that you should consider adding to your watch collection. So without further ado, let's go over to the bench and check out the Squale 1521. Okay, here is a much closer look at the Squale 15.1. You can see the absolute beautiful blue. I want to say azure blue dial. It is just absolutely gorgeous. The aluminum bezel, everything about this watch is just absolutely beautiful. The orange hands, the printing, the indices. It's just an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous watch. But before we go further into how awesome this watch is, let's get the dimensions out of the way. This watch is 41 millimeters case width. It is a 48 millimeter lug to lug. It is 20 millimeter strap width, and it is 12 and a half millimeter case thickness. So it's nice and slim on the wrist. This watch, starting with the bezel, it's aluminum bezel. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel. I don't know if my mic is picking that up, but it's crisp. It's absolutely just dead on, and the QC is just perfect. It lines up exactly at the top. Um, the hands, you have your typical sword hands. It is an orange minute hand, and then you have the regular hour hand, and then you have the rectangular with the fine tip on it seconds hand. It is all loomed. Both hands are loomed, and then the indices are loomed. These are printed on indices, and the Squale name, and then the symbol and the professional and the 50 Atmos is also printed on. You have a date window at the 3 o'clock, and then you have your indice numerals are printed in Swiss Superluminova, and then you have your outer bezel ring, which is your 120 click unidirectional bezel. The um, the bezel is held on by screws. So it is a coin-edged bezel, and the bezel is held on by these individual screws. So it is not a spring-fastened one like a Seiko that has a spring in it, retention that'll hold it on. It is held on by a spring in each corner. So if you want to remove the bezel, you have to remove the screws. It is a 4 o'clock position screw down crown, and it's held in, as you can see, the way it sits kind of encased inside the case and in where the lugs are to protect it from being damaged. It is a polished stainless steel, and it has nice chamfered edges. The whole case is polished. They do make one that's bead blasted, so if you're looking more for a matte finish than the polished, I went with the polished because it was more the traditional style. And then you have a nice lug width here at 48 millimeter lug width. This is going to fit almost any wrist perfectly. It's definitely on the for smaller wrists, it works perfectly, and for the larger wrists, it's absolutely excellent. It is a high beat 28,000 VPH, and it is a ETA 2824 movement inside. It has a 40-hour power reserve, and it is 50 atmospheres or 500 meters water resistant. So this watch is going to exceed anywhere you're looking to go. It is a screw down case back. It has their traditional, it's like, I want to say, you can run your finger and you can feel it. It feels like a laser or laser engraved, or I can't think of the other word for it, but it has the traditional case back, says sapphire crystal, Swiss made, stainless steel case, and it squales, and it says 50 atmosphere professional. It is absolutely just absolutely extremely comfortable on the wrist. I will give you some wrist shots of it, what it looks like on the wrist, and where it's extremely comfortable. The face has a sunburst type, the dial has like a sunburst pattern to it. When you're out in the sun, it really reflects and shines that sunburst pattern just absolutely beautifully. As I stated, it's aluminum bezel insert. It is not a ceramic bezel insert. This is a total utilitarian tool watch, but you can definitely dress this up with the tan leather strap, and I'll have some photos of the tan leather strap, or you can wear what I have on this Zulu Diver full FKM rubber strap. When it's through the retainers, there's not a lot of extra, it's not so narrowed down that this flops all over the place when it's on the watch. That's what I love about Zulu Diver bands, is many of the traditional FKM ones, this part here narrows up so much that it's literally half the width of the retainer. and I don't like the way it flops around. And the Zulu Diver ones do not do that one, and this one is also branded with the Zulu Diver logo on it. The Zulu Diver strap does have the quick releases. These are not drilled end links. The tan leather band that it comes on fits very comfortably, is very nice, but it is your typical. Okay, there is the loom on the Squale, and you can see that it is the Super Luminova is just absolutely brilliant and bright. It does have a glow at the 12 o'clock at the 12 o'clock pip. The loom is absolutely fantastic. There's just absolutely zero complaints on the loom, but that's what I would expect from Squale quality and Swiss Luminova. It looks absolutely fantastic. I don't think you're going to be unhappy with it all. You can see the gloom on the hands, on the second's hand, and then all the indices. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Let's go ahead and throw it on the timer and see how it does, how it's keeping time. Okay, here it is on the time grapher. First test is plus 16, second is plus 14, third is plus 12, and fourth is plus 12. So it's running about 12 seconds a day, 300 amplitude and 0 beat error. Plus 12 seconds a day is well within the tolerances that added 2014. It's like a plus 15 or minus 30. I'll have to get to, and I'll put it down in the comments in the exact. I'll take that all day long. I only had this on for about 6 hours today, and like most watches, the longer you wear it, the better it will do. So let's take off the time grapher and let's give you some wrist shots so you can see what it looks like on the wrist, and then we'll jump back over to the studio for the final review. Okay, but before we do that real quick, just a real quick wrist check. I have on my, still wearing my Erebus Origin dive watch that I picked up. It's been over a week now I've been wearing this one. I did a review last week on it. Seems like a lot of people are really liking these watches. It's absolutely fantastic. If you have not seen it, I'll have the link down below. You can go watch the review on the Erebus Origin. This is the watch between Jody and Steve over at Just One More Watch. So let me pop this off and then we'll get the Squale on. All right, here's the wrist shot of the Squale 1521. You can see on my 6 1/4 inch wrist that it fits absolutely perfectly with those 48 millimeter lug width. Absolutely happy with this one. You cannot go wrong with this watch at all. I definitely encourage you to check it out. I'll have some additional wrist shots here for you so you can see what it looks like on the wrist. So without further ado, let's jump back over to the studio and let's close out the look at the Squale 1521. All right, there you go. There is the review of the Squale 1521. I encourage you to pick one up. I think they're a fantastic watch. I don't have a lot of misgivings about it. I don't know if the 1521 comes on metal bracelet or not. I did not see that option. I went with the leather one because I just really liked the tan leather. And then I went with the full FKM strap on it. There was no complaints that I had about the watch, other than the, obviously Squale increasing the price by 20%, but it seems like a lot of watch companies in 2024 are upping their prices. Some I've heard as much as 40%. It just depends on the watch manufacturer. But overall, I think it's a fantastic watch. I don't have any complaints. There was nothing that I disliked about the watch that I would like to see different. I was very happy with the movement. I'm happy with the sapphire. I'm happy with the case quality. I'm happy with the build, the horology, the military history of it, the longevity of it. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic watch. I think you should check it out. Tell me what you think of the Squale 1521. Do you have a Squale? Do you have any of the Squale lines? What are your opinions on them? Do you like them? Do you don't like them? Would this be something you'd recommend to somebody who was looking for a 1000-ish range watch, who was really looking for something with a lot of history and horology or military history with it? Let me know what you think. Tell me what you disagree. I think it's a fantastic watch. One you should definitely take a look at. I know they make them in different materials now. They have them in PVD black. They make them in ceramic. They're making some in different materials. They even make one where the the orange hand looks like it has a little shark bite out of it. I think that was a collaboration with Long Island Watches, which I thought was really cool. But I think this one is one that you should definitely take a look at. I think Squale is a great brand. I think they are definitely underlooked. I don't think they're overrated at all. I don't think they're underrated. I just don't think that they get a lot of look unless you're really into those types of watches. This one doesn't get talked a lot about as so many watch brands, other ones are coming out. But hey, let me know what you think. I appreciate everybody watching. Hey, thank you again for everybody for watching this channel grow. We can't do it without you. You are the key integral part of this whole story of our channel. Thank you again. Hey, as I tell everybody every week, stay honorable, stay safe. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. I am diving into watches, and I'll see you again real soon. Stay safe.